A 22-year-old who saves $10 a day can retire richer than someone who saves $1,000 a month starting at 40. That sentence sounds wrong. It sounds like a mistake. But it's math, and math doesn't lie. Somewhere out there, right now, a college student is skipping their daily coffee run, dropping $10 into an investment account instead. And without knowing it, they're on track to become a millionaire. Meanwhile, someone earning six figures, someone who makes real money, might retire with almost nothing. How is that possible? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand a financial secret that schools never taught you, banks never advertised, and most adults figure out 20 years too late. Let's talk about $10 a day. $10 is nothing. It's a sandwich. It's 2 coffees. It's the tip you leave without thinking twice. Most people wouldn't even notice $10 missing from their day. And that's exactly why this works. This video is about one of the most powerful and most misunderstood forces in personal finance. It's the reason some people build wealth quietly over decades while others stay stuck, living paycheck to paycheck no matter how much they earn. It's called compound growth, and once you actually understand it, you'll never look at money the same way again. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how $10 a day can turn into over $1 million, why starting early matters more than earning a lot, and the simple system anyone, literally anyone, can use to make this work for them. Let's get into it. Part 1. The $10 Illusion. Here's a question. If you had to choose between $1 million right now or a single penny that doubles every day for 30 days, which would you pick? Most people choose the million. It feels obvious. A guaranteed $1 million versus a penny? But here's the interesting part. That doubling penny doesn't just grow. It explodes. Day 1, it's 1 cent. Day 10, it's about $5. Nothing impressive yet. But by day 20, it crosses $5,000. And by day 30, that single penny has grown to over $5 million. The penny wins, not by a little, by 5 times. This is the trap almost everyone falls into. Our brains are wired to think in straight lines. If something grows a little each day, we assume it'll keep growing a little each day. But money invested over time doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows on a curve. And for most of that curve, almost nothing seems to be happening. That's the part nobody warns you about. Part 2. Why nothing happens. Until everything does. Let's bring this back to $10 a day. $10 a day is $300 a month. Invest that every single month into a simple, low-cost stock market index fund, the kind that tracks the overall performance of the market, and history shows an average annual return of around 7% after accounting for inflation. In year 1, your $3,600 grows into about $3,700. That's it. You put in effort for an entire year, and the reward feels almost invisible. Most people quit right here. They look at their account, see barely any growth, and think, this isn't working. I might as well spend the money on something I actually enjoy. But here's where it gets surprising. By year 10, that same habit has grown into roughly $52,000, even though you only put in $36,000 of your own money. By year 20, it crosses $150,000. By year 30, it's over $350,000. And by year 40, which sounds like a long time but is just the difference between starting at 25 instead of 65, that $10 a day has become more than $1 million. Same $10, same effort. The only thing that changed was time. This is why it matters. Compound growth isn't about how much money you have. It's about how long your money has to work. The first 20 years look boring. The last 10 years look like magic. But it's not magic. It's math finally catching up. Part 3. The myth that money rewards the rich. There's a popular belief that building wealth requires a high income. That you need to be earning six figures before investing even makes sense. But here's a myth worth breaking. Income and wealth are not the same thing. There's a well-documented pattern researchers have found again and again. Many high earners, doctors, lawyers, executives, end up with surprisingly little net worth because their spending rises just as fast as their income. Meanwhile, some of the wealthiest self-made individuals in America started as teachers, janitors, secretaries, and factory workers who simply saved consistently and invested for decades. One of the most famous real examples is a Vermont gas station attendant and janitor named Ronald Reed. He never earned a high salary in his life, but he lived modestly, invested small amounts in well-known stocks for over 6 decades, and when he passed away, he left behind an estate worth nearly $8 million. Almost nobody who knew him had any idea. Most people never realize this. Wealth isn't built by what you earn. It's built by what you consistently invest and how long you let it grow. That's a completely different game than the one most of us think we're playing. Part 4. The psychology that keeps people poor. So if the math is this simple, why doesn't everyone do it? Because humans are not wired for delayed gratification. We're wired for survival, and survival used to mean grabbing resources now, because tomorrow was never guaranteed. Psychologists call this present bias, our tendency to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue future ones, even when the future reward is objectively much bigger. It's the same reason people struggle to diet, struggle to exercise, and struggle to save. The reward for saving $10 today is invisible. The reward for spending it is instant. There's a famous psychological experiment from Stanford, often called the marshmallow test, where researchers offered young children 1 marshmallow now, or 2 marshmallows if they waited 15 minutes. Some children waited. Many couldn't. And follow-up studies suggested the children who were able to delay gratification tended to have better outcomes later in life, including financially. But here's the twist most people miss. Delayed gratification isn't really a personality trait you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained, usually by making the waiting automatic, so you're not relying on willpower every single day. Which brings us to the actual system. Part 5. How to actually make this work. Understanding compound growth is one thing. Actually using it is another. Here's the simple structure that turns theory into results. Step 1. Automate it. The single biggest reason people fail to invest consistently isn't a lack of money. It's a lack of automation. If you have to manually decide to invest every single day or week, motivation will eventually run out. But if $10 moves automatically from your checking account into an investment account, it stops being a decision. It becomes a habit you don't even think about, the same way rent or a phone bill gets paid without a second thought. Step 2. Choose a low-cost, diversified investment. You don't need to pick individual stocks. You don't need to time the market. Historically, broad market index funds, which spread your money across hundreds of companies instead of betting on just one, have delivered strong long-term returns with far less risk than trying to guess winners. This is not exciting. It's not a hot tip. It's boring, and that's exactly why it works. Step 3. Never touch it. This is the hardest part. The market will drop. Some years it'll fall 10, 20, even 30%, and it'll feel like a mistake to leave your money in. But here's something most people never realize. The market has recovered from every single downturn in its history, and investors who panic sold during crashes almost always lost more than those who simply stayed invested and let time do its job. Step 4. Increase it slowly. $10 a day is the starting line, not the finish line. Every time your income grows, A raise, a bonus, a new job. Increase your daily investment before your spending catches up to it. This one habit alone separates people who build real wealth from people who simply upgrade their lifestyle every time they earn more. Part 6. The real cost of waiting. Let's talk about something most people don't want to hear. Every single year you delay starting, you're not just losing that year's growth, you're losing decades of compounding on top of it. Imagine two people. The first starts investing $10 a day at age 25 and stops completely at 35, just 10 years of contributions. The second waits until 35, then invests $10 a day every single year until they're 65, 30 years of contributions. Here's where it gets genuinely surprising. Even though the second person invested 3 times longer and put in 3 times more money, the first person, who only invested for 10 years but started a decade earlier, ends up with more money by retirement. This is why early investors, even small ones, will almost always outperform late investors, even large ones. Time isn't just a factor in this equation. Time is the entire engine. That's the one problem with waiting for the right moment to start. That moment rarely comes, and every year you wait is a year of compounding you can never get back. Part 7. But what if you can't save $10 a day? Some of you watching this might be thinking, easy for you to say, I'm barely covering rent. That's fair, and it's real. This isn't about pretending everyone has the same starting point. But here's the mindset shift that matters more than the exact dollar amount. This video was never really about $10. It was about proving that small, consistent action beats large, occasional action. Even $5 a day, invested consistently for 40 years, grows into over $500,000. Even $2 a day becomes over $200,000. The amount matters less than the habit. What matters is starting with whatever you can, automating it so it doesn't rely on your motivation, and increasing it slowly as your situation improves. Wealth isn't built in a single dramatic decision. It's built in thousands of small, unremarkable ones, repeated for years, that nobody else ever sees. Bringing it all together. So let's come back to where we started. A 22-year-old saving $10 a day can genuinely out-earn someone saving far more later in life, not because they're smarter, not because they earn more, but because they gave their money the one thing it needs most: time. Compound growth doesn't reward the people with the most money. It rewards the people with the most patience. It looks like nothing is happening for years, and then, seemingly out of nowhere, everything happens at once. The real lesson here isn't just about $10. It's about understanding that the financial decisions that feel the most insignificant today are often the ones that matter the most, decades from now. So here's the one thing to take away from this entire video. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time is today. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more videos about money, investing, and financial psychology.